how's it going, guys? And if you couldn't already tell, I am. I'm actually very excited because we just got some incredible news. And I am literally besides myself. I've been waiting to hear this for the last 3.5 years. And if you don't already know, and I'm assuming if you're not already, going crazy just like we are, I'm talking about the fact that we finally might be getting Zack Snyder's Justice League in the movie theaters. I mean, I'm literally besides myself because when this movie came out, now again, we've covered this. If you're a Zack Snyder fan, if you're the real Justice League fan, you know about this. I'm preaching to the choir right now. But if you're not, if you're the minority out there that have no idea what this exactly means, or what this means exactly, I can't even speak well, or speak right. I don't know. This movie came out in 2021, the height of the pandemic, right? It came out on HBO Max, now Max. But if you know the story behind all of this, Zack Snyder, obviously the absolute architect for the DCEU, starting with Man of Steel and then Batman versus Superman, and then shortly after he was finished directing in post-production of his Justice League, and then Warner Brothers decided to step in and try to Marvel-ish. Try to make it more family-friendly, more PG-13, more colorful, more funny. And we ended up getting the most absolute travesty of a movie from the beginning to the end. And fun fact, the only good scenes of that original movie that came out in 2017, the scenes that were really good in that movie were actually Zack Snyder's scenes. Go figure. So obviously, you know what happened, the backlash, and then the fan base just basically voicing not only their frustration, but also their anger at the fact that, people started leaking certain things about Zack Snyder's movie, and apparently we ended up realizing he had actually finished his movie. He was in post-production, unfortunately ended up losing his daughter, had to step away, and as crazy as that sounds when it comes to the studio, even though I know this sounds wrong, because to Warner Brothers, all they thought about was the bottom line, right? They thought about money. How do we make more money? And they figured, Marvel is making billion-dollar movies. How about we try and be like Marvel? I feel like they should have noticed an opportunity to not only exhibit their humanity, right? Allow Zack Snyder to mourn, right? Even if you're going to push back the release date of the movie, as a fan base, we would have come together, rally around this man. Even though we did rally around Zack Snyder because he lost his daughter, he stepped away, and he didn't step away from the movie. He just stepped away to deal with this. His family, anybody would understand this. And you would think a studio that said they were backing him would do this. But they said, no. We want to be like Marvel. DC is not Marvel. Marvel is not DC. These are two different entities. They're very different even in the comics. But Warner Brothers, and crazy thing is, a lot of Warner Brothers executives are not even comic fans. That's the part that really pissed off a lot of fans. So you guys are just making business decisions, and then obviously that movie didn't do well, and then came the fan base, came the backlash, came restore the Snyderverse, especially once we found out the movie was actually done. And then the movie comes out in 2021. They allow him to do it and really finish editing and really doing what he wanted to do with it. He actually even added more scenes and whatever. And the movie came out on HBO Max. It was 4 hours long, and I watched that movie. I remember the first week it came out, I watched it 4 times. That's 16 hours. You can judge me all you want. I've watched a whole lot more since then. But I couldn't believe it. The fans went crazy. Like, this is what you refused, or this is what you basically denied us? This is what you took away from us? So, needless to say, what came next was obviously trying to restore the Snyderverse. But not only that, we started advocating for the fact that we wanted to see this movie in the movie theater. We saw it on TV. I mean, if we're going to say goodbye to the DCEU, how about we say goodbye to it in the best possible way out there? In the movie theater. Allow us to say goodbye in the movie theater. So allow us to say goodbye to the DCEU, because obviously by now, as a fan base and as a fan, I mean, we've obviously campaigned for the restoration of the DCEU, but now that basically DC is under new management, James Gunn and Peter Safran, and they obviously have a new direction for DC, now the DC universe. And I'm okay with it. I've basically come to accept the fact that it's the end of an era, right? The DCEU. I mean, we had some incredible movies in the DCEU, from Man of Steel to Batman v Superman to Justice League, Wonder Woman, the first one. Wonder Woman 1984, the first 9 minutes. Obviously, Aquaman, the first Shazam. Obviously, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the first one, even though, again, with that, the studio still interfered and we still didn't get the real movie that David Ayer actually wanted us to see. And there's another movement. I really don't think that's going to happen unless he leaks it. And yeah, that's a whole another woof. He would never do that because they would sue him to Kingdom Come. Unless somebody else did it. Maybe a hacker. But yeah, so we had some really, really good movies that came out. And we could have had a really good universe. But again, I guess I am okay with the fact that we're not having a continuation of the DCEU. But Zack Snyder just gave us, I think, the best news I've heard. I mean, the anticipation of this. I mean, the response of this. It's been nuts. Fans are going crazy all over the world. He tweeted, and you see it right here. It's a possibility that we might get Zack Snyder's Justice League in the movie theater. Dude, I don't care if it's a day. I don't care if it's one day. I don't care if it's one screening time. Let me tell you something. This fan base is ecstatic. This fan base is absolutely committed to this man. I mean, and the fact that I would get a chance to see this movie in the movie theater, in the big screen, and I bet you it's going to be on IMAX because he shot it on IMAX. Being able to see these characters in all their glory, seeing Darkseid in the movie theater, seeing that fight with the Justice League, like Superman fighting the Justice League in the movie theater, seeing Steppenwolf in all his, right? It's going to be nuts. And I'm telling you, this has to happen. And I'm telling you, if Warner Brothers and DC, well, now DC, if they want to ingratiate themselves, if they want this fan base to come back, if they want the fan base to basically have faith in the future of DC, they have to do this. Again, I am resigned to the fact that we're not getting the DCEU coming back, right? Even the actors themselves have said, I don't want to come back. I mean, they suffered through this. They went through a lot with the studio. They've resigned to the fact that they're moving on to other projects. They might even moving, if the rumors are clear, some like Henry Cavill might be moving to Marvel for some characters. I don't know. And I don't care. I honestly don't. I mean, they're actors. They have range. They can go wherever. But it's going to be difficult to see Henry Cavill doing something else, Gal Gadot, and oh, it's going to be tough. But if DC and Warner Brothers really want to bring back this fan base, because trust me, a lot of fans, a lot of fans, yeah, they feel disrespected by Warner Brothers, specifically Warner Brothers. I mean, they feel they're disillusioned. They have zero faith. I mean, I remember last year, I mean, when we watched Blue Beetle, I've said this so many different times, and we had some really bad movies last year. Shazam! Fury of the Gods was an awful movie. Really good cast, but really bad movie. I mean, how do you go from the mountaintop to just crashing? I mean, The Flash, I mean, absolute disappointment after the hype, after the years, after the delays and reshoots. I mean, and then here came Blue Beetle. And let me tell you, Blue Beetle was a breath of fresh air. It was a good movie, but again, with the fan base, they're like, why should I go watch this movie? And if it's a good movie, they're just going to change it or do something different with it. They didn't feel hope. They didn't feel heard. But if they do this, I'm telling you, Warner Brothers, if you're listening, this is the best marketing. Oh, I don't know who came up with this. I'm telling you, this fan base will come back to you. We'll come back to the studio. We'll be energized. We'll be reinvigorated. We'll have some faith in whatever you're trying to do moving forward because you've listened to them. There's nothing better than listening to your fan base. And they will come back and spend money. The upcoming movies of DC, people will spend money because now they have faith. Now they understand, oh, you're listening. You're listening to us. Anyway, the news coming out from DC. I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait. And I can't wait for the news. I can't wait for them to release the dates. Release the Snyder Cut movie theater. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.